Hello and what is going on, you guys? Hyperion-Blue-GT is here for starting up in round 4 in season 2 of the 2021 exhibition series in the manufacturer series on Gran Turismo Sport. Today we are going in to participate at the Nürburgring Nordschleife for 3 laps by using Group 4 category for today's grid start with full start check by having one tire requirement to be using for the hard racing compound tires as the mandatory. So I just barely went down to do a lot of practice by giving a total mileage to be at 51.8 miles since taking 4 laps around in the Nordschleife. Last race in Sardinia Road Track C for the Group 3 category turns out by having 2 choices of having a pit stop will be available for only one time. One for the pit stop with a tire change, or a stop and go will be needed as well to be reached over onto the finish line without having a 1-minute penalty. But looks to me, it might be quite giving an interesting fact that every GT players probably might be able to do a stop and go to move forward to be continued on by any current position. Luckily, I could probably have to go and try it out and see how it looks like. Just gonna have to go in and grab the Gr.4 race car. We'll be ready to go and have the balance of performance regulations will be setting up automatically. So make sure you guys, whenever we have to race 3 laps around in the Nürburgring, just make sure whenever you're going to have to choose the first or the second lap will be entered in onto the pits by having 2 choices. We'll be giving a well-determination. So let's see how some good progress out there before we will join the lobby. If you're new to my YouTube channel, go and click the subscribe button and leave a like and comment at the section down below, and check out the links on the description if you really want to see more. Feel free to enjoy it anytime you want for the entertainment. Now it's time to get ready to start the race, and let's begin. The 2021 Exhibition Series Season 2 of the Manufacturer Series is about to begin. Group 4 cars are now ready to go to take on 3 laps around in the Nürburgring. Here's GTE Rafael Ferraro in first place in the Lamborghini Huracan Group 4, followed by myself in second place in the UDRS Insportec livery of the Chevy Corvette. Here's Mystery Machine 27 in third place in the Lexus RCF Group 4. Lamso 1 is now taking on in 4th place in the Ferrari 458 Italia Group 4, and we have MD Sniper 3 in 5th place in the Dodge Viper Group 4. Commander X takes on in position number 6 in the Aston Martin VA Vantage Group 4, and here is Enya Ronia 69 in the Ford Mustang in 7th place. Mid Merlio Hope in 8th place is now ready to go in the BMW M4. Beetle Man takes on 9th place in the Lexus RCF Group 4, and we have Sterling 007 in 10th place in the Nissan GTR Group 4, and the RS 172 in 11th place in the Peugeot RCZ Group 4, and we have Goatman 1121 in 12th place for the BMW M4, Video Vampire in 13th place for the Toyota 86 Group 4, Beer Ford in 14th place in the Mercedes-Benz SLS AMG Group 4, and here is Art Bat Clutcha in 15th place in the Ferrari 458 Italia Group 4, colored in red. Jet TMI 78 in 16th place in the yellow SLS AMG Group 4. Rojo Beatley in 17th place in the BMW M4, and we have Polka Stat 757 in 18th place for the Lexus RCF Group 4. And for the last driver is DLDG1 in the Volkswagen Scirocco Group 4 is at the go. Alright viewers, looks like this is going to be the only challenge whenever we have to start out 3 laps around in the Nürburgring. Lap number 2 is going to be the only reminder stop to be using as a stop and go pit strategy. Just going to have to go in by having a grid start for only 5 seconds until we're about to hit the green. Fuel map is at the go to be used, and here we go folks, let's do this. This will be the 4th round in the Manufacturer Series, and Season 2 of the 2021 Exhibition Series is going underway. Good luck out there, viewers. Do your best and dominate the green hell in the Nürburgring will be on the way. Lamborghini takes the first one, will go in, followed by UDRS in second place, and the Chevrolet Corvette C7 Group 4 takes on in the first sector. Lesmo 1 is now going in to take the offense, will be going in at the head start, and Insportec takes the quick defense, will be continue on by having a push to catch up on to GTE Rafael Ferraro in the Lamborghini Huracan Group 4 to be in the first sector, towards moving on in sector number 2, will be going in on to the first straightaway to be on the curve. Taking on for having a lack of push out there, Lesmo 1 is now going in for the left side for the overtake, and Ferrari takes on to have position number 2 to be moving on, while Insportec is now currently to be on position number 3. Sector 2 is on the road, and now we're about to be going in onto the curb straightaway by having an increased acceleration before moving on to take sector 3. But it's going to be getting a little bit length of the distance out there, viewers. 19 drivers is now currently for only 18 left, and we just lost one driver, just left the lobby. Pulling up the brake, take the inside formation out there, and Ferrari is now going for the outside and passes in on to the second sector towards the end, and moving on in sector 3 for Ferrari and Chevrolet will be going in for having an ongoing battle to be in the second position. Getting a little bit closer out there for Lamborghini in first place to be in the lead, and the all-wheel drive takes the upper hand advantage, will be doing the right start to be in the third sector. Taking on for having a good corner and perfection to be well achieved, and goes on for only 2 drivers in Ferrari and Chevrolet will be keep going forward for having a one good slipstream battle to be on the chase. Here comes sector 4, viewers. Gonna have to keep it up, and going in towards to the next corner will be at the left turn. Slide it in and going in on to the apex. Take some good braking point by having a pressure. Very good. Looks like Ferrari is now going faster by the ongoing defense, while Insportec takes the offense by using the fuel map. Will be tried to stay longer until reaches up onto the second lap. After taking lap number 1, will be going forward to be on the warm-up at the start. Gonna have to keep going forward and take that good turn without going off the track, and take that good position by doing the next corner is going to be a little bit tricky. There you go. Insportec is staying on the line, and Ferrari is still takes the push to catch up on the Lamborghini towards the next sector. Will be currently on to sector number 5 towards on to sector number 6. Getting a little bit further out there to have that second straightaway for only a few more distance to go. Currently on the progression is going to be quite doing remarkable out there for only 2 Italian Group 4 cars, for only 1 American race car for having a third position to be having a chase to catch up. Velocio is on the roll for only first and second place driver will be going in onto the curb straightaway to be in the second part. Next sector will be on the way by taking the main route to do the next course. Now let's see how the current driver is doing along out there for having a good progress. In about 1.1 seconds to go on the length of distance for position number 4 driver, Mystery Machine 27 is now going forward to catch up onto UDRS Insportec. In about a few more seconds, we'll be able to be on the overtake. Gonna have to keep up the pace. Having a chase with Ferrari is going to be a long length. We'll be going over onto the carousel corner. We'll be on the way by taking the next sector. We'll have to keep going forward by dealing with a lot of corners. And goes on for Insportec, taking on for having a good defense to be staying on in the same position, and passes over onto the next corner to be at the right. Gonna have to go dive in. Lesmo 1 in the Ferrari 458 Italia Group 4 is getting a little bit closer. Will be breaking the line by only 1 second and about 0.8 seconds remaining. Dived in onto the carousel and take the inside and give a good speed formation to be on the maintain. And Mystery Machine 27 is now going on the chase to have the offense to catch up onto UDRS Insportec in position number 3 towards the next sector. Luckily, it's going to be quite giving a good excited moments out there to be part of the racing highlights. Keep it up, Insportec. You have to stay strong and stay over on to the top 3 position. And there goes. Looks like Mystery Machine 27 is now going in for the left side. And it's Lexus passes in on to 3rd place, while UDRS Insport in the Chevrolet Corvette C7 Gr.4 is dropping down onto position number 4. But hold on. Looks like this is going to be having a contact out there for Ferrari. Taking on for the defense is going to be very difficult for only one single mid-engine layout to be staying on to position number 2. Lexus is now going for the offense to take on for the next sector. Is going to be on the right corner turn. Is going to be stepped in onto the apex. Mystery Machine 27 could probably have to keep it up, folks. It's going to be quite giving a good, excited FR showdown to catch up for only a single mid-engine layout. Will have to stay much longer until the overtake will have to call it in. Pulling up the braking point and take that right corner turn. Avoid the sand trap. We'll be coming forward to have a nice, good, perfection, clean race. It's so good to see how Lexus could probably have to take the chase to catch up onto Ferrari. It's going to be quite giving a good, brilliant moment out there to see a lot of spectators around in the Nürburgring. Going forward onto the next sector, Ferrari and Lexus is now taking on for the braking point, and here is Ford coming from behind. In position number 5 is Inyawonia 69 in the Ford Mustang Gr.4 comes in to take the scene. Insportec could probably have to be prepared itself for having a tough battle while taking the chase on to Lexus and Ferrari. Going forward to take that next turn will be at the right corner, and Insportec barely tries to stay on together for having a formation grip. And here comes the full straightaway. We'll be passing through onto the yellow penalty line as the landmark. Let's do this, viewers. The slipstream is about to go on for the chase. Passes through onto the next sector before it pushes up to have the final run. We'll have to go over onto the first lap. Will be reached up at the end. It's going to be giving a little bit side by side out there between Ferrari and Lexus. Mystery Machine 27 and Lesmo 1 is now going forward to take on for reaching towards the final sector at the end of lap number 1 and passes through by having a 1-car lineup. We'll have to do the formation to be going over onto the final corner. Pulling up the brake forcefully to be slowed down, and Ferrari takes that good clear spot onto the apex, while Lexus is now going forward to take the last turn to be going over to have the full straightaway and goes off the track towards the end of lap number 1 before moving on into lap number 2. And Ferrari takes the lead, followed by Lexus in position number 2, goes on with UDRS Insport in the Chevrolet Corvette C7 Gr.4 proceed on to position number 3. Here comes lap number 2, viewers. Better make it count and keep going stronger whenever we have to go over onto the pit stop by having a stop and go requirement to do the main mandatory. So brilliant to see how Lexus and Ferrari is going to be quite giving a good successful battle moments for having a good excellent race to be at the Nürburgring, viewers. It's like this just like back on to be in the Nations Cup in the 2021 series in Season 2 for the N300 category. Luckily I just participate here by using the KTM Expo R by having a same different kind of UDRS Insportec livery for taking on with 2 Toyota SFR Racing Concept. Luckily for only one player to be in first place just left the lobby by any reasons unknown. However, it was almost barely had the moment to take one player to be reached up onto the finish line. It's going to be the rare opportunity to see how every GT player might need to stay together to be in first place to be on the lead without exit the lobby to be quitting out onto session. So right now the battle continues on for first place between Ferrari and Lexus. Mystery Machine 27 is now going forward to take the push, while Lesmo 1 in the Ferrari 458 Italia Gr.4 takes the hard defense to be coming in onto Sector 3. Braking point gonna have to take that best position to be moving on to take that next corner. Keep going at it. Keep pushing away for Lesmo 1 in the Ferrari 458 Italia, while Mystery Machine 27 takes the hard push to be ongoing. Sector 4 will be going in on the way, viewers. The spectators really love to see how Ferrari and Lexus can actually battle out to have that good moments out there to be in the 4th round in the Manufacturer Series of the 2021 Exhibition Series. Keeps getting a little bit far left behind out there for Lexus, folks. Gonna have to step it up and ace that course for every corners, have that nice perfection. Is gonna be quite taking some good brilliant moments to have some good clean efforts without having a lost contact by having a slight mistake. Keep going in. And on to the last second for UDRS Insportec, stays on in position number 3 to be on the ropes. Lexus is actually tries to keep it much longer to have a main focus on Ferrari, while having a little bit more desperate times comes with desperate measures where Insportec in the Chevy Corvette C7 Group 4 comes in to have a nice forward to be in sector number 5. 17 drivers left standing around the course. Gonna have to keep an eye out, folks. We have several drivers by any chances will have to keep going forward for having a good clean race at the Nürburgring. And also especially for the update for the fastest lap time on Lesmo 1 for only 7 minutes and 32.932 seconds to be in lap number 1. As now we proceed over onto the second curve straightaway towards the next sector. It's going to be quite giving a good high-speed chase out to see how Lexus and Ferrari could probably have to keep it up by having a several distance, along with UDRS Insportec in the Chevrolet Corvette C7 Group 4 is going to be on the push for only 1.8 seconds to go on to the length of the gap. Coming in onto the left turn, passes through onto that left corner, is going to be quite giving a good clear perfection without failed, and passes on to do the next sector. We'll be going right back in onto the carousel before moving on to take the final lap. After taking the pit stop, we'll be doing the stop and go strategy. And there's Ferrari entered onto the carousel corner, followed by Lexus, especially goes along with Insportec in the Chevy Corvette. Close call, and giving a good spot position is definitely might be quite giving an A-OK average. It's going to get a little bit closer out there for only 3.3 seconds to go on to the length of the distance. For position number 4 is Annie RS 172. That should be quite giving a good, excellent username. Will be giving a good spot moments to be in the racing highlights to be part of the manufacturer series. Goes on over to have a nice good push to catch up onto UDRS Insportec while taking its main focus on Ferrari and Lexus in first and second place. Goes on to take the next sector. We'll be on the way towards the flower bed corner. We'll have to go over onto the long straightaway towards the final sector. We'll be doing this first pit stop. Will be switched over by having a stop and go strategy by having a refuel requirement. Oh boy, looks like there it goes. Looks like Mystery Machine is now going to be going right back on the track after having a slightly controlled difficulty problems, since UDRS Insportec has the opportunity to be moving on to get closer on to Lexus at position number 2. Stay steady and goes over by using the apexes. Is going to be quite giving a best role for having a nice professional racing to be taking on in the green hill. Getting a little bit closer out there for Chevrolet in the UDRS Insportec livery is going to be quite giving a good push to catch up onto Mystery Machine 27 in the Lexus RCF Group 4, while Ferrari takes that upper hand advantage to be staying much longer to be in first place. But here comes the next turn. Is going to get a little bit dived in to have some good clear spaces, and staying on track by having a good course by having a line up sight. We'll have to get over onto the flower bed corner. There you go. It looks like we have Rojo Finley from Mexico is now coming in to take the scene in position number 4. Looks like UDRS Insportec is about to be prepared for having a long sight of defense coming from behind. Gonna have to keep an eye out, and there it goes. BMW M4 takes the line of sight to catch up onto Chevrolet in position number 3 while entered onto the full straightaway. Gonna have to hurry up and quick, folks. The lineup sight is going to be taking a lot of progress before we could probably have to go over onto the first pit stop by doing the stop and go. Moving on to be passed through onto the tourist course section layout to be at the start, and goes on over to have a nice good position to be reached up at the final sector. We'll be coming in towards the exit. There's Rojo, passes me onto the right side for the overtake and goes over by having a slightly risk to be going on for having that inside turn to have that good position. And here comes the pit stop. Gonna have to make a count and goes in by having a don't change only. We'll have to do a refuel requirement to be stopped in by exact 50% to be at the recommendation. There goes Mystery Machine 27 to be in the lead, followed by GTE_ Rafael Ferraro in the Lamborghini Huracan Gr.4 is moving on to be in position number 2. MD Sniper 3 and the rest of the drivers are now into the pits by having a stop and go required strategy is going to be the only recommendation. All set and raring to go and switch back over onto the field map to be at power number 1. Close call and giving a good successful push to be on position number 3 while several opponents are about to be coming out onto the pits. So let's do this, folks. The final lap is about to begin to see how two drivers can actually work their ways to catch up onto each other to be a successful slight of a few distance to be on the second sector before moving on to be having a good position to be called in. Lexus is now going to be taking on for having the first part of the curve straightaway, while Lamborghini is now going to be having a hard push to catch up onto Lexus in position number 2. Going a little bit forward out there, folks. Take that good terrain hill at the left and goes over onto that less hill pan to be at the right. Passes through to leave sector 2 before going right back in onto sector 3 again for only one more time. Lamborghini takes the push and goes forward onto the offense to catch up onto Lexus RCF Gr.4 to be in position number 1 while having a position number 2 to have that good successful all-wheel drive performance. Could be quite giving a good run moments to be on the green hill at the Nürburgring. So meanwhile for UDRS Insportec stays on in position number 3. Rojo Finley in the BMW M4 is now closing in about 0.7 seconds behind the length of the gap, is going to get closer in onto sector 3 by having a grand entrance. Will Insportec has to stay strong to be on a well-defense position before BMW comes in. It's going to get a little bit tricky out there, but the moderation of the handling goes in for having a much successful embrace moment to see how the Chevy Corvette C7 Gr.4 goes on to have a nice title to be putting up with a Grand Sport variant. As also for the lineup chase for NERS 172 is joining in for having a slipstream chase to catch up onto Insportec in position number 3. Taking a contact for having a slightly turn to go tricky. There you go. Step it in onto the apex while Rojo is now staying on in position number 4. Goes in onto the inside and blocks in for the defense for Insportec to be staying on for having a perfection corner to be achieved. It's going to be quite getting a hard work out there. Taking a slightly risk. We'll have to stay strong, and Insportec could probably have to be brave and goes in to be mastered on every corners around in the Nürburgring. It's going to get a little bit much longer to take. Let's see how UDRS can actually try to keep it up to stay in position number 3, while BMW in 4th place will have to go forward to be on the offense. Keep going. Next sector will be on the way towards the second curve straightaway. Team Chevy in the United Defensive Reformation Service Grand Sport variant is now on a roll to be reached up by having the next turn to be at the left corner before passes through onto the right corner to be coming right back onto the second straightaway to be on the curve. But here comes Rojo Finley in the BMW M4 once again. Not this time for Insportec. Gonna have to stay on in position number 3. Is gonna be quite giving a good push to have that good successful clean run without taking any contact, without having a collision. And also goes on to have a last minute update to see how Lamborghini takes the first place to be in the lead by overtake Lexus to be dropped down onto position number 2 by having a latest update for having a fastest lap for Mystery Machine 27 in 7 minutes and 28.164 seconds. Incredible. How incredible to see how Lexus can actually beat Ferrari's lap time will be going over by the second lap update. Clearly, it was definitely might be called in by having a first pit stop after leaving lap number 1 before it passes on to take lap number 2 is going to be the only stopping point position. So now we have clearly passed through onto the carousel, and Rojo Finley in the BMW M4 is actually trying to keep pushing away from UDRS Insportec by having a little bit trouble handling by having a contact. Clearly we're having a 3-second distance is going to be quite giving a good opportunity for having a defense where Insportec will have to buy some time. Perfection is doing well, good, and the spectators really love to see Insportec will have to take on position number 3, will have to go over onto the podium. And that means we're having a good successful surprise guest strategy for Lamborghini to be in first place. We'll be having the first lap. We'll have to go over onto the pit stop by having a stop and go. You see that, folks? Several drivers could probably have to do a lucky chance. We'll have to go in to take lap number 1 before moving on to take lap number 2 by having a pit entry. We'll be doing the stop and go requirement strategy. But it might be quite possible to see how 2 choices whenever it might have to go with a tire change, and also the stop and go for the refuel requirement is definitely might be quite giving a good example by having a determination. Several drivers might have, because they just really don't need it all, they could probably might have to keep on racing to stay clean and continue on to take 3 laps around in the Nürburgring to see how successful racers will have to go in to have some new ways and some new challenges by using one single use of the tire compound is actually try to keep things better to do the different ways. So now Lamborghini is now already made it in onto the full straightaway to take the next sector towards the final. Will be reached up onto the final stretch. Let's see how GTE_Rafael Ferraro from Brazil is actually trying to keep things smoothly for having a good clear run. And Mystery Machine 27 in the Lexus RCF Group 4 is going a little bit far behind from GTE_Rafael Ferraro in the Lamborghini Huracan Group 4 is having a little bit hard time to catch things up a bit. Luckily, it's going to get a little bit low on fuel out there, folks. 10% remaining. Better make it count and use the fuel map in case of emergency whenever we have to keep going forward towards the end. 0.2 seconds remaining on the refuel. Just gonna have to go forward by taking the sacrifice. 8% remaining. And there it goes. Looks like Lamborghini takes the win to be in first place in round 4 at the Nürburgring for the FIA Gran Turismo Championship of the 2021 Exhibition Series in Season 2. Lamborghini takes the successful win to dominate the green hell. Now that's a Group 4 competition to have a good achieve well endurance. And there goes Lexus, finished in 2nd place and goes on for UDRS Insportec in position number 3 at the finish. And that's it, folks. Everybody is about to proceed forward until the time runs out in about a minute. And there's Mystery Machine 27 just barely caught a 1-minute penalty to have a compromise. And that makes Inyao Onia 69 is now moved on to be in position number 3 by default. Automatically for Insportec to take position number 2 is going to be quite giving an A-OK job well done. Several drivers did their best. Luckily others who barely put a red dot to be marked for penalty will be tried to do their best out there. And there's Commander X in the Aston Martin B8 Vantage Group 4 by having a 2-second penalty. Doing fine. And only 2 more remaining. Video Vampire in the Toyota 86 Group 4 and Art Balcia Leccia in the Ferrari 458 Italia Group 4 is still runs around. Just gonna have to take 1 more driver remaining until 10 seconds left. So, looks like this is gonna be quite giving a good, excited moment out there to have the 4th round to be at the Nürburgring for the Group 4 category. But I just finally did my best to be in position number 2 to be moved on automatically by default. Yeah. Now this is going to be quite giving a good clean race out there. 100 points for UDRS Insportec for having a successful silver medal position to be well achieved. How awesome to take on 3 laps around in the Nürburgring. So let's go in and collect some earning summaries for having a main outcome. It's all good out there for having a nice successful race to be in the Manufacturer Series in round 4. GTE Rafael Ferraro in the Lamborghini Huracan Group 4 did a remarkable, brilliant, successful run out there to take the first lap, will be entered onto the pits before moving on to be in lap number 2. Inyal Ronia, 69 in the Ford Mustang Group 4, did its pretty good job to be in position number 4 before moved on automatically to be at position number 3. So let's go over to congratulations to GTE underscore Rafael Ferraro in the Lamborghini Huracan for doing a good successful first place victory at the podium. This replay will be doing the best moment out there to be part of the racing highlights before we're about to be proceed forward to be in the next race. We'll be going over to be in Blue Moon Bay Speedway for the second part in the Group 4 category. But you're very welcome, GTE underscore Rafael Ferraro. You're very welcome to be well achieved to have a nice endorsement response. Thank you for tuning in on my video, folks. I hope you really enjoy. So make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, bell for notification uploads to be turned on, and the links on the description down below if you really want to see more. You can check it out on Instagram, Deepnet Art, GT Planet, and other social media platforms if you really want to follow me. And don't forget to support my main project, Vision Total Drama, the next chapter of the Total Drama fan art to support the community. I'll be seeing you guys next time for continue on in Season 2 of the 2021 Exhibition Series of the Manufacturer Series on Gran Turismo Sport, and I will see you later in the next video. Keep on racing, stay clean.